Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmal Shah Bashmal Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and as well as the bishops on down. And Yahweh Bashmal Shah Brakatham to all of the sincere believers of the elect, whom is 144,000, and including the 1/3 that sincerely follow the ministry as we give it. You will be tagged and you will love it. As expected, the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum was the hottest and anti-globalist, multipolar, traditional return values conference of 2024, possibly of all time. The unipolar world suffered nonstop during this mind-blowing freedom event. For example, Moscow region Governor Andrew Vorobyov made an incredible BRICS announcement during a titillating panel discussion about the joys of the biometrics, causing the dollar to lose 50% of its value against the gold-backed ruble. The biometrics is a tool that gives people better quality and more convenience in certain procedures, keeping them neat and tidy, and you don't need any papers or passport. That will all be in the past. Resisting it, in my opinion, is absurd. So I think that's what the guy said at the BRICS announcement, showing you that this implantable device will be had all over the world, okay, which is going to bring in the hour of temptation. And I'm going to pull that out right now. Revelations 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all of the world to try them that dwell upon the earth, right? Because, as we now know, because we have this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmal Shai, when we're dealing with the vision of John the Revelator in chapter 13 and verse 16, he said that he will cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand or in their forehead. And that if you don't have it, you won't be able to buy or sell. So if you live in a house or an apartment, how are you going to be able to make payments on it? You know, how are you going to basically overall take care of yourself and your family? You won't be able to do none of these things. So therefore, you'll just be able to, it's like, oh boy. So at that point, you're just going to be without nothing. And so the world will be tried. And of course, you're going to have those that believe in the scriptures. They're going to go the hard way because they know that obviously if they consent to the system and taking the mark, then they're going to be destroyed according to Revelations 14, as we have it over here. Okay, so we want to be delivered. We want to be saved. We don't want to have nothing to do with this side of the Lord at all. All right. So that's one of the reasons. And another reason is the fact that we want that everlasting crown. We want to be excellent as kings in the kingdom of heaven. So, you know, if you take that mark, you're going to die a grievous death, as explained in Revelations 14, and you're just going to come back as a regular citizen of Israel. Okay. And, you know, none of us want that. We've come so far with this truth to just quit. All right. So, you know, this is why, as I'm going to now say, this is why we pray as we should, you know, every so often as we should, that the Most High keeps us on fire in this thing and keeps us, you know, well set in mind, even in the end. Because we don't want to give so much up in time and energy just to be regularized citizens of the next world. Nah, man. So again, we're not going to take the mark. So we have to suffer being homeless, and we have to suffer being exiled of society, and that's so be. Okay? So we want to be those that are going to keep the word in that time, and therefore the Lord will keep us from the hour of temptation. So, even including in that, you're going to have people like ourselves that believe in the scriptures, that are Israelites, and they're going to resist against this thing, especially if you're coming from the right Israelite group. All right. It's primarily if you're of great millstone, and also the other camps as well that teach the way that we teach. And then you're going to have these Edomites that may appear to be Edomites, but they could be Jakes that believe in the Bible, calling themselves Christians and all of that stuff. They're going to resist against this thing. But then you're going to have those that are going to just simply consent because they want to continue on with their life. They don't want their life to be put on hold. It's kind of like during the time of the COV era, where people were told if you don't take the VCs, then you won't be able to do A, B, and C. So what did people do? People lined up and took the VCs. People lined up like a bunch of herd of sheep, just so they can get the jiggity. All right, the jiggity jab. Because they wanted to continue on with their life. So, but you had a few of us that didn't consent. We didn't really care to consent. We didn't really, because we wouldn't do none of this stuff anyway. People wanted to go back to the clubs and all of this extra stuff, man. All right. So yeah, that's all I got to say right there. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read some more of this. Revelations 11. Now, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And what does it mean to hold something fast? Meaning to clutch it. Clutch it tight. Just like how they say fasten, just like the saying goes, fasten your seatbelts, meaning tighten your seatbelt. Okay? So we got to hold this thing tight, because this truth is going to lead to the crown, as wisdom does. All right. Just like when Solomon prayed for wisdom, he received the crown after that. He was the best king in his time above all. And he reigned for 40 years. So, wisdom, especially the wisdom that we have, will lead to the crown, the everlasting crown at that. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which we are the New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of him from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. Now, does that literally mean that the Lord is going to have an actual new name? No. The name has been afresh. This is just as well as this truth has been brought back to our hearts afresh, meaning is going to be renewed. Okay. And just like in the days of old in the Old Testament, once upon a time, the Lord had placed his name upon the nation of Israel. But what happened is our people went a-whoring after the other gods, defiling the name of the Lord. So now, according to the book of Ezekiel 36, as spoken out of the mouth of Ezekiel, of course, what did he say? He said, when the Lord comes back, he's going to do a mighty work to magnify his name. And he's not going to do this thing for our sake, but for his name's sake. Okay. And that's going to be him delivering us on a miraculous fashion. So when we're delivered, we're going to get that name placed upon us again. But primarily the elect are going to be the representatives of the Most High himself, because they stood so stiffly for his righteousness by the word, even unto death. So they're going to be the grand examples in the kingdom. Now you're going to have Israelites in their various positions and stuff like that, but the elect are going to be a class of Israelites that are going to be on a very high degree and representing the Most High. So that's all I got to say with that. Now let's even read James 1. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord have promised them that loved him. And the Lord promised really the whole book are words which were promised. Okay, because all of the prophets, they spoke the words of the Lord, and we can read them today. And we know that the Lord is not a power that he should lie. So all of the visions that haven't came to pass yet will indeed come to pass. And there's going to be certain prophecies that's even going to come to pass in the kingdom. Okay, but we know for certainty that as it is written, which the Lord have promised to them that love him, this is going to happen. All right, because there's words that have been spoken that was said that wasn't promised, but that's going to happen. So you better believe that these words are etched in stone to happen, and we're going to be excelling way above where we're at right now, uncomprehendibly. So yeah, so we endure the time of the temptation, or the hour of temptation, then we're going to receive that crown as well deserved. All right. And when they make this thing mandatory, all of these various camps are going to be like, well, Great Millstone had the truth all along, and they was right, because we've been the main camp screaming out the MOTB prophecy on repeat like a broken record. We've been the main camp speaking about this. So when it comes to pass, which is very well looking sure like it's going to come to pass, then everybody's going to be looking silly out here. All right. Especially these men that follow these false prophets any doggone way. So yeah, so let me read some more of this right here. The governor of Russia, second most populated region, explaining the inevitable convenience of biometrics, which will replace archaic papers and passports. Nothing is being hidden, and they're speaking very frankly, and it's all out there in the open. And they have to speak frankly out there, as they've been doing throughout the media, because what they want to do is they want to get you desensitized to the idea of you receiving an implant under your skin one day. So if you're desensitized to it, and it gets down to it where you have to do it, it's not going to be such a taboo thing to do. It's going to be very easy to do, because you've been familiar with this technology in mind, because they've pushed it in your mind to be desensitized to it. All right. And that's why we now have these mobile phones the way that we do, because the mobile phones is going to transition us to the biometrical way of life. And the term biometrics, which even the phone is a form of biometrics, because with your phones you can scan, you can actually pay on your phones, and you have all of this data that you can download on your phones, right? Which the term biometric means life measurement. The word bio means your life, and the word metric goes back to the word measure. So your life is being measured. Every single thing is going to be on that implantable device. All of your medical details, your national insurance number, your social security number. All right. All of this stuff is going to be on your chip. Everything about you is going to be on that implant. So that's why this reads, as I'm going to read it again. Biometrics is a tool that gives people better quality and more convenience in certain procedures, keeping them neat and tidy, and you don't need any papers or passports. That will all be in the past. Resisting it, in my opinion, is absurd, right? So that's going to be the new thing. So if you don't have this implant, then you're going to be X'd out of society. And again, that's where the temptation is going to come in, because you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your family. You got to uphold the household that you live in and stuff like that. Governor of Russia's second most populated region, explaining the inevitable convenience of biometrics, which will replace archaic papers and passports. Nothing is being hidden, and they're speaking very frankly, and it's all out there in the open. So that's all I got to read. So yeah, if you take this mark, then this is going to be had, man. And just like I said, we don't want no parts of this whatsoever. Revelations 14 and verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Verse 9, we'll begin right there. And the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark on his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. See? And the smoke of their torment is sent up forever and ever, and have not rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. There it is. So if you receive that mark, which the mark represents the New World Order, then you're going to be at one with the system. And when the system is destroyed, you will be destroyed right along with it. As it is written, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So if you want to be in league with the wicked, then you're gonna receive what the wicked is going to receive in terms of its judgment. All right. So yeah, and just to include as well, the reason why the BRICS are getting together in the first place, or you have nations that are joining the BRICS, is just so that they can bring the dollar down, of course. And if they can bring the dollar down, which we know that Russia's going to be heading this, right? Or or they probably are already, Slovakia, they probably are already heading this. We also know that if the dollar is weakened, then it can also lead to a lesser impact of them being sanctioned, because every nation has a treasury of dollars and stuff like that. So if these nations are no longer using the dollar because they have their own currency, then it really doesn't make a difference at all on that regard. Okay. And that's going to definitely bring the dollar down even more. And therefore, that's going to force America to change up its currency for the digital dollar. So yeah, let's go back and read this again. BRICS in final stages of the dollarization mission. New non-dollar global payment system is confirmed. As this reads, at a meeting this week in Russia, the BRICS announced that it has reached the final stages of its dollarization mission, complete with a new payment system and new competing currency to the global reserve, Federal Reserve note, also known as the US dollar. The economic minister of the leading BRICS members countries are just about ready to unveil a multipolar international monetary system that will mark an official end to the US dollar dominance as the sole global reserve currency. Right, so that's all I'm going to read right there. And just as well as I've mentioned, that this will be had all around the world by reading Revelations, the 3rd chapter in verse 10. The world, for that matter, which the focus is really on Israel, which is that world, which will be tried. And, just like I said, if you don't receive that mark, you're going to be giving up the whole entire system and everything which you've garnered from it. So therefore, you're just going to be naked without nothing. But again, here's the reward. And I want to end it on a positive note, which all of this stuff and what I'm getting into is all positive anyway, because it's the gospel. The gospel is the good news. All right. And before things get really good, things have to get bad first anyway. So as this reads, the disciples' reward. I like that headlining right there. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. We have another reward over here. And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or fathers, or mothers, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. So that's going to be the benefit of sacrificing the world for a greater world to come, which is going to be the kingdom of heaven. Because you can't have your cake and eat it too, as the saying goes. It's either you're gonna have to lose one thing to gain another thing. So, being that the ones of us been in this truth for a while, we've been without the world spiritually, really shouldn't be difficult. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be difficult to a degree, but at the same time, it shouldn't be severely difficult, because we know about this world and we know that this world has no interest of us. All right. And many other things. That's the why we see this world the way we see it, and why we're not a part of it. But the point is that we're going to receive 100-fold of all of the things that we have given up. And that is the point. So you might have family members that receive the mark, that's going to receive the mark in that time. And they're going to be looking at you like, you need to do the same thing, nigga. All right. And if you don't do it, then guess what? You're going to be excommunicated from your family. But that's going to be all right, because you're going to have what? Even that 100-fold. So prepare to lose it all, and prepare to gain much more in the future. So with that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Arakah Kwadash, and double honors to the head apostles of the great No Stone, and including the bishops that taught us what we now know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Arakah Kwadash, and as well as even 144,000 Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Brakatham, and to those of the 1/3. And it's your brother Laban Shalom.